Imagine for a moment taking a deep breath and letting your awareness settle, just for a second, into the idea you've always been enough. Right now, just for a moment. Let that idea settle into your mind, like a soft wave that gently washes over you. And you might begin to realize sometimes the most powerful beliefs, they're the ones you don't even notice forming. Those little ideas you carry around, often without even thinking about it. And yet there's something truly magical about discovering that the idea of needing someone else to validate your worth is just that, an idea. It's like a belief, a story you've been telling yourself. And you know, all stories, they're just ways we make sense of things. Imagine, just for a moment, stepping back from that story. Stepping back from the narrative that says you need someone else to love you in order for you to love and accept yourself. And just notice as you step back how that story begins to lose some of its grip. Can you see in your mind's eye that your value is not tied to another person's perception of you? That your worth is something intrinsic, like the air you breathe or the stars in the sky. It's always been there, always. Even in the quietest moments. Even when you're all alone, your worth was still there. You might not have noticed it, but it was there. And perhaps now you're beginning to feel it. Just let that idea sink in, like a seed being planted into rich soil. And as that seed starts to grow, it begins to take root. In fact, notice how the thought that I'm enough, just as I am, it starts to feel more and more comfortable. Like a soft sweater that feels like it was made just for you. Your worth is not based on anyone else's actions, words or beliefs. It's grounded in the simple beauty, the truth that you exist. It's like the sun. No matter what, it shines, regardless of the clouds that may come and go. And when you think about love, what if love wasn't something that you needed from another person to feel complete? What if love was a resource that flows through you? Something you can tap into whenever you need it, from within. Imagine that love, not as something you lack, but as something you are. What would happen if you recognize you have an endless supply of love to give, to yourself, to others, and even to the world? You know, love is often portrayed as something you have to get from someone else. But have you ever considered that love is already within you, and it always has been? Like the deep ocean, full of its vastness, it's always there, even if you don't always notice it. And perhaps in this very moment, you begin to feel it. It's like a warm glow that rises within you, a sense of inner peace, knowing that you're worthy of love simply because you are. And as you reflect on this, you might realize this love, this self-love, it doesn't come from external validation. It's something that naturally comes from you, flows through you, and has always been a part of you. And this love, it doesn't need to be earned or given by another. It is in a sense your birthright. Just like the air, just like the sky, it's there, available at all times. And what would it be like to release the belief that you needed someone else to tell you that you're lovable, and instead to embrace the truth that you've always been lovable, in ways that are unique to you? Imagine how freeing it would feel to let go of the need for the external validation, just for a moment, and to bask in the truth that you're whole. You've always been whole. And even now, as you sit here, maybe you're beginning to notice that this feeling, this sense of self-worth, it isn't as far away as it may have seemed before. It's just a shift, a new perspective, like turning a key in a lock, and then suddenly you've access to a vast love and worth that's always been yours. And as you begin to experience it, you might notice the more you accept yourself, the more others will naturally reflect that back to you. Perhaps you're beginning to see you don't need someone else to try to make you feel worthy of love. Because the truth is, love is already yours. and it always has been. Imagine now how it feels to own that love, to step into it, to see yourself with the same love and acceptance you've always longed for from others. And so, as you continue, each time you feel the pull of wanting the external validation, just remember the ocean of love that's within you. And notice how each time you do, that ocean gets deeper, wider and more expansive. You don't need anyone else to fill it up. You're already full. You're already worthy. You're already enough. And perhaps now, as you sit there with this new perspective, you might begin to feel that each breath you take brings you deeper into a sense of peaceful self-acceptance, a sense of knowing that you're complete exactly as you are, and that anyone who enters your life now will do so, not because you need them to complete you, but because they're drawn to the love and the wholeness that you already embody. And so, in your own time, with your own rhythm, you can begin to embrace the truth of your worth and see how your relationships, they begin to mirror the love that you've cultivated within yourself. And now just notice, without any need to rush, how much more comfortable you can feel in your own skin, knowing you're enough, always, already enough. And as you take a moment to breathe, effortlessly drifting into a state of calm relaxation, you might begin to realize every belief you hold, whether you're conscious of it or not, it has a purpose. And sometimes those beliefs, they were formed with the best of intentions, even though over time they may have outlived their usefulness. Just like an old coat that no longer fits, a belief can be shed, and in its place something new, something more fitting can be embraced. And as you notice this, you might begin to see how throughout your life you've been subtly taught that love must be given from someone else, as if love was something external that you needed to obtain. Imagine how that idea was shaped, perhaps from people around you or the world itself. It's as though you were taught that to be loved, you must first be found worthy by someone else. But can you hear that little voice inside, gently whispering that the love you seek, is already within you? And as you pause and breathe, you might feel a shift, just a slight shift, in how you view yourself. It's as though you're beginning to remember that love, it isn't something you must beg for or chase after. It's a resource that's as natural as breathing, as natural as the earth spinning beneath your feet. Imagine just for a moment how it would feel to recognize that love flows through you, just as naturally as the blood that flows through your veins. What if love, instead of being something that you needed from others, it's actually a reflection of how deeply you love yourself? Picture, just for a moment, a beautiful light glowing within you, a light that radiates warmth, compassion and understanding. That light, perhaps brighter than any star, is your self-love, your worth, your essence. And the beauty of this light is, it cannot be taken away. It's yours, always, no matter what. And when you see yourself from this perspective, how could anyone else's actions diminish that light? And as you notice this shift, perhaps you can begin to realize, every time you doubt your worth, it's simply an old pattern, a belief that no longer serves you, like a shadow fading as the sun rises. It's no longer necessary, no longer relevant. And as you move through life, embracing this new belief, that love is not something you need to seek from others, you might feel that sense of freedom, the freedom to be yourself, fully, without needing to prove your worth to anyone. And even in those moments when you feel uncertain, you know this love, this worth, is unwavering, like a steady flame that refuses to be extinguished. It burns brightly within you always. And as you breathe in deeply, you might realize the purpose of relationships. It isn't to complete you. They're simply a reflection of the love that already exists within you. Just like a mirror reflects your image, relationships, they reflect the love you've cultivated inside yourself. And so imagine, just for a moment, how it feels to truly release the need to be validated by anyone else. Let that old belief dissolve like sand slipping through your fingers effortlessly, and notice how, in its place, you can start to embrace the idea that you're complete, whole, and worthy of love simply because you are. What if every time you feel that pull, that desire for external validation, you could instead tap into that inner well of love that's yours to draw upon at any moment? It's there, isn't it? Just beneath the surface, always available, waiting for you to recognize it. You might even begin to feel how it's not about needing someone else to love you. It's about recognizing you've always been deserving of love. You've always been worthy. It's in your nature. It's part of who you are. And as you continue to breathe, perhaps you begin to notice, the more you accept this truth, the more effortlessly you can embrace the love that's within you. The more you recognize your worth, it's not determined by the approval of others, but by your own ability to love and accept yourself. Imagine how empowering that feels, to know you don't need anyone's permission to feel worthy, to feel loved. It's yours right now, in this moment, and it always will be. And as you reflect on this, just notice how each day you become more and more connected to this powerful, unshakable truth, that you're whole just as you are. No validation, no external recognition needed. It's already there within you, always. And the beauty of this is, the more you embrace it, the more you begin to see this love, this worth. It's reflected back to you in your relationships, in your interactions, in the way others treat you. Isn't it fascinating how, when you stop seeking love from others, you begin to attract love effortlessly? It's as though by recognizing your own worth, you naturally draw people into your life who see and reflect that worth back to you. And you no longer need to chase it, because love is no longer something you need to gain from others. It's something that radiates from within you. So just imagine for a moment what it would feel like to walk through life knowing you're always worthy of love. Imagine how every conversation, every interaction feels lighter, more authentic, because you no longer need to prove anything. You are enough just as you are. And that truth becomes a part of your reality, shaping every moment, every experience. Now notice how that feels. Feel that shift in your body, in your mind, that sense of deep, unwavering self-worth that can't be shaken. And as you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in even more of this sense of self-acceptance, of love. And as you exhale, you release any remaining doubts or insecurities, letting them drift away, like leaves floating down a peaceful stream. And with every breath, you move closer to fully embodying the truth of your worth. In fact, as you embrace this idea, you may even begin to notice, without trying, that the world around you seems to change. People start to treat you with more kindness, more respect, and you begin to attract relationships that reflect the love that you nurtured within yourself. You see, the more you love yourself, the more others they'll naturally love and respect you. And the more you embrace the belief that you're worthy, the more the world reflects that back to you. And with every passing day, it becomes easier and easier to embody the belief that you're enough just as you are, that your worth is inherent, that love flows through you effortlessly always. And as you continue on this journey, just notice how much more effortlessly you're able to accept yourself, knowing you've always been worthy, you've always been enough, and you always will be.